Good afternoon and welcome to Hard Facts this Wednesday. Okay. Welcome to Hard Facts this Wednesday. It's the 18th of March, 2026. Okay. I seem to be getting some feedback. Please let me know. I hope it's not getting to you. If it is, if you can get any noise in my voice or in what you're hearing, please let me know. I seem to be catching something here. But again, welcome. It is the midweek on Hard Facts this afternoon. And I said yesterday, just as the show was rounding up, that it may be a bit dicey to get Dr. Majid here with preparations for Salah and all of that. He sends his apologies as he would not be able to be here this afternoon. But indeed, it is still the midweek. We're still going to be looking at some of the biggest stories in the news this afternoon, and I hope that you will do that with me starting right now. We will do that up until 4:30, after which we will proceed to do the sound bites, taking us to 5 o'clock. And then at top of the hour, 5 o'clock, we've got a sponsored segment, after which we will be talking about the woman. Something's happening in the world of business for women, with women in this day and age, and we'll be addressing that by 5:15 all the way up until 6 o'clock, when we get to hear from you on other matters as touching you. My name is Somi, that's S-O-M-I, short for Somi, and it is my pleasure, as always, my honor to be here, looking at dissecting some of the biggest stories in the news today. All right, let's start with one that hit the headlines early on today. The president coming out to direct political appointees to resign. And of course, he gave that directive pursuant to the provisions of Section 88(1) of the Electoral Act 2026, as well as the timetable issued by INEC for party primaries ahead of the 2027 general elections. He directed all political appointees under his administration who intend to contest elective offices in the forthcoming 2027 general elections to resign their appointments on or before the end of this month, being 31st March. And it was put out in a circular by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and issued by the Permanent Secretary General Services Office, Ibrahim Kana. Yes, all of this also indicating the categories of people who are expected to tender their resignation should they wish to participate in the forthcoming primaries or seek nomination for any elective office. And the categories of people include honorable ministers of state, special advisors to the president, senior special assistants to the president, special assistants to the president, personal assistants to the president, all the DGs and all CEOs of federal government parastatals, agencies, commissions, and government-owned companies, as well as all other political appointees of the president. Accordingly, all affected officials are required to submit their formal resignation letters through the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation by the stated date. According to the president, this is necessary to ensure full compliance with electoral laws. And I remember the first person who I spoke with concerning this topic said something along the lines of, well, we're going to see pretty much all offices being emptied because a lot of people are looking to throw their hat into the ring come 2027. So the question, I think, bordering on this of importance is, what are the implications going to be? First of all, what is the legal implication of this? Secondly, what impact is it going to have on governance and continuity? And some other concerns around the whole matter. It is not new. It's not the first time that we're getting this happen. Some have said that the timetable, might present a bit of an issue for some of the people who are intending to do it because they are looking at it against INEC's timetable. But at the end of the day, I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on the matter, especially as it has to do with what it means for governance in Nigeria between now and the election, which has been slated for January and February. Yes, January and February. So perhaps this is not the first time you're hearing of the news. I'd like to get your thoughts on it. The biggest concern is, what does that mean for governance? What does that mean for continuity? Especially if some people's suspicions are anything to go by. If the suspicions are anything to go by, we're going to be having lots of offices clearing out. But some people have said, well, it wouldn't really translate too much. There's always been that talk about the incumbency advantage. So forcing resignations this early, will it actually level the playing field is what some people are asking? Or will these former appointees still maintain enough proxies and influence within their former office to tilt the scales? These are some of the questions. These are some of the questions that have come about, and would like to get your thoughts on it as we share. Remember, the phone lines are opening up right away, so feel free to call in. Okay, thank you so much for letting me know there is no noise. I appreciate that. But if you're on Facebook, if you're listening on Facebook, please let me know. I believe you're getting feedback on Facebook. Okay. Yes, I can hear it, but I don't seem to know what the issue is. Okay, do you know what? Let's take a few minutes and sort this issue out, because my tech person is actually getting the feedback. So let's try and sort that out. I'll be back in like a few minutes. Please stay with us. What the Electoral Act wants to achieve by including that is to prevent the use of state resources for personal political gain. That is one of the things that the Electoral Act set out to prevent by ensuring that these resignations come in beforehand. And so the question then becomes, is it really something that will prevent the use of resources for political gain, being that they're still in office and they're still using funds within the administration to, pursue their political intentions? So yes, that is one of the questions that has come about. Looking at impact on governance and continuity, if several high-profile ministers and DGs resign at once, there's also the question of, okay, what then happens to things like the Renewed Hope agenda? What happens between March, end of March or April, if you will, till January next year? It will present some sort of a limbo, is what some people have said. Are they going to appoint new people to fill in the gaps? Are they going to be able to vet these people, bring them up to speed and get them to do what needs to be done so that governance does not suffer and continuity does not suffer? These are some of the critical questions that have come about concerning this directive, right? So I would like to get your thoughts on it. So please, again, like I said, the phone lines are open. Let's start talking. 0809-597-4869. On WhatsApp, it's 009-993-01 837. And you can send a voice note. Please keep it no more than 1 minute 30 seconds so that we can get as many thoughts on it as possible on the various perspectives on the conversation. I've got a voice note here and I've got a call. Let me start with the call. Good afternoon. Sorry about that. All right, call us up. In the meantime, I'll just run through the second story very quickly. We are seeing a terrible state of things concerning power in the country. You know, you talk about it, and at a point it becomes, what am I even still complaining about? Because we're constantly complaining, and it continues to get worse. Now, I know people will say this thing about, the season, you know, this is what you typically experience. And I think at a point we've come to normalize that whole idea of, it's the dry season and it's a natural occurrence in the dry season. But I was thinking back, and honestly, I can say, and I don't know how many of you feel the same way, perhaps you can let me know. Dry season or not, it has never been this bad. It has never been this bad. This is not just something of one part of the FCT. It's in most parts of the FCT, and outside of the FCT as well. You are having so many states being affected by poor power. And according to news reports, this power crisis is likely going to deepen because Gencos are still battling a 6.8 trillion naira debt. And as of today, they're having to shut down some plants. That is our second story today. They're shutting down operations because of the 6.8 trillion naira debt, because it has crippled their ability to maintain equipment, secure gas supplies, and meet basic operational expenses. Now, you are having a Bloomberg report coming out to show just how bad the situation is. But I'm sure nobody needs Bloomberg to tell us this thing. We're seeing it is widespread across the country. And you are having the Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Power Generation Companies talking about how this financial strain that they're experiencing and liquidity challenges will continue to affect the electricity value chain. This is coming from the Association of Power Generating Companies themselves. They're saying they can't maintain machines anymore. They're saying that they don't have adequate funding. They cannot service their equipment. And this is underscoring the severity of the cash flow crisis confronting the sector. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll get more into the story and get your thoughts on it as well. Stay with us.
Resign. If you know like then no be we make for Eminent Limited. Our unto say if it use our product for your house, office, or religious buildings. Our calci seal and calci craft sealing products, we dey for plain and pattern. They last well. They fit they block heat plus noise from to the entire house. Our products no they catch fire, charger, or you carry your phone, ring a number for Eminent on 0700-3839-644, or waka enter any of our distributor shop we dey close to you, or download the Eminent app on Google Play Store or iOS. Our office call the number 7 Old Abakaliki Road, Enugu. Eminent Limited, we tender for anywhere people they build. We be EDEX company.
Welcome back to your number one talk news and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Welcome back. We are talking the big three today, and we're having to do this sadly without the benefit of Dr. Majid, but we're sure that he will be joining us back next week. It's been a lot with the Ramadan fasting, with the I Beg to Differ competitions, and sometimes you just need to take it a little easy. But of course, I have the honor of having you join me to analyze some of the conversations that we're having today. And we've looked at the first headline with the president directing political appointees to resign no later than 31st of March. And we've asked, what is the impact going to be on governance and continuity? And then secondly, will the aim of the Electoral Act actually be established in the sense that, if they resign, they will actually not have access to unfettered access to funds that they can use to further their political ambition. They will be able to step away from all of that. Do you think that that will actually happen? And then secondly, we are on the story about the power crisis and how some of the industry players are saying it's continuing to get worse because a debt that has been accumulating since 2015 remains unpaid. And we are having a monthly growth of about 200 billion naira monthly, which is putting the current outstanding at 6.8 trillion naira in debt. Let's go to the phone lines. I'll come back and talk more on that story, but the lines are already ringing, so let's talk. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Adiola Victor from Deepens.
Welcome, sir.
I want to talk on the president directing the political officers who are interested to resign between now and 31st March.
Yes, sir.
Yes, well, politicians now, they know how to play their game. Some of them put one leg inside and put one outside. Some of them we like to pretend that they want to resign, and maybe after resign, maybe they want to come back. Well, because we have seen that one before. But it is good. Let them resign, so they cannot go for two things at the same time. But one thing is sure, you see politicians, when they are in office, they are already gathered enough money to contest election. So whether they resign now or they stay, they have already gotten enough money from the system. We know how they get money, especially in the civil service. So when they want to, those who are interested in politics, have already taken whatever they want to take from the system. So, especially those ministers who are interested. I know one will resign, especially the one from the one who is giving us maybe both light and darkness at the same time, because he is interested. He has made the question made before that if he returns for him to go and contest in your state, I know he resigned very soon, but okay. I don't know. But I don't know whether we have the chance. But I want to remind you that it will not be easy for him to win the election in your state, considering Shey Makinde. Shey Makinde performing in your state, and he has another candidate. So it will be very difficult for him. But if you think that he will be able to play Amala politics in other states, the era of Amala politics has passed in other states.
Okay.
So those of them, if they know they will resign, they will not get it. They better stay with Tinubu and continue to enjoy the instead of the signing at the end of the day.
Okay.
They will lose at both sides.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon. Okay. Call us back. The phone lines are open. We are talking the big three this afternoon. And while I wait for your calls to come in, let's go back to the situation on power. Okay, I've got this. Let's take this. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome.
Hello. I want to comment on the second story about power.
What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
My name is Samuel. I'm calling from Central area.
All right, go ahead.
I like Dr. Majid always say. He said, when you leave critical sectors like power in the hand of private individual, you always come up with this kind of access. Look at what we're going through in the hand of the petroleum sector and all that things. Now I don't think this thing will go down. Will be resolved very soon, because look at the problem that we're going through as an individual, as a customer. Especially if you are on the prepaid, if you are on the, is it postpaid or what they call it now, the ones that you pay every month. They give you 50,000 naira even with light or with no light, you have to pay. And yet with this number of debts still accumulated, I think it's not fair. It's telling on the masses now. You cook, you put on the fridge because of lack of light, everything you wasted gets spoiled. It's not as if the money is coming as it used to be. I think we are the one feeling this thing more than any other thing. I think the government should sit up, honestly. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. I mean, on the conversation about sitting up, it makes you wonder. This debt has been, 11 years, if my math is mathing correctly. This makes it 11 years since the debt started accumulating. So this has been a problem of the previous government leading up until this one. And so it makes you wonder, how could they be owing this much money and why? Those are also very pertinent questions indeed. But let's go back to the phone lines. Good afternoon.
Hello, Somi. Good afternoon.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you. This is the excellent series.
All right.
About the topic you promoted, I don't think that electoral act is actually providing a level playing ground. But I think only appointees of government. What about the elective offices, including the governor and the president? The reason I'm asking this is because there are some appointees that would want to go for some various positions. Do you understand? Through the electoral process, you are asking them to resign. Whereas you that is going for second.
Excellent, Spirit. Your network cut you off there. You can call back and finish your thought. And there we go again. All right, let's take this one and then I'll go back to the stories. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome, sir.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, my name is Alex.
Welcome.
I'm calling from Uyo. Yes, I want to talk on this precarious situation we always find ourselves in, this electricity problem. Honestly, they say they will always quarrel with his or her tools. The way APC government is treating Nigerians on this power is getting out of hand. I was born and I was hearing up NEPA, and the
Mr. Alex?
they try to manage it. Hello?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Hello?
I can hear you now. Please, go ahead.
Hello?
Okay, Mr. Alex.
Hello?
It seems... Okay, let's move it on. Please call me back. You got disconnected there for a second and I couldn't hear you. So yes, back to the worsening power crisis and, the debt, the matter of the debt and the fact that it's leading to Gencos shutting down their plants. A little more data on that. Like I said, it's been accumulating since 2015. It continues to grow by roughly 200 billion naira monthly. And Gencos reportedly are owing gas suppliers and transport service providers about 60% of what is owed to them. So the Gencos are being owed, which also makes, in turn, the Gencos unable to pay the gas plants and the gas suppliers what is due to them as well. Now, gas-fired plants apparently account for nearly 70% of our electricity generation, making uninterrupted gas supply critical. However, gas suppliers are increasingly reluctant to continue deliveries without payment assurances. Now, you're also having the Nigerian Independent System Operator, NISO. The operational data is showing significant underperformance in power generation. 16 out of 33 power plants were not supplying electricity as of yesterday afternoon. The remaining that we're generating, combined, we have 3,705 megawatts, and our average generation has remained around 4,000 megawatts for years. This is despite the fact that we have installed capacity of 30,000 megawatts. So there are lots of issues around this, but I mean, if we're even going to make some progress, perhaps we can just start with ensuring that there's gas available for the Gencos to be able to generate power, however low it is. That's another conversation for another day, and then we can get it out. But now we're experiencing massive debt. Didn't start with this administration, although some people will say it's still the same party. So, it falls within their purview to be able to say, this is what we started with in 2015, and this is what we need to do to close the gap. But it doesn't seem like a lot is being done. Now, not that nothing is being done at all, but that not necessarily a lot is being done. There was an intervention, about 501 billion, if I'm not mistaken, that was done not too long ago, but it still leaves a huge gap. So you're dealing with legacy debt, and they are constantly trying to close that gap. And so that's why we're seeing it as bad as we're seeing it now. Let's go back to you. Good afternoon. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah, my name is Mr. John.
Welcome, Mr. John.
Yeah, calling from CBDs.
All right.
In respect to appointee resignation,
Yes.
like what other caller just said, I think there is no need for that, because these politicians, they know how to play their game. The money for the election, they have already gathered it. So there is no point. They should just leave us. They should not just do surface dressing, sugarcoating all the whole issue. No. They have already gathered the money. There is no when say, oh, let them resign so that they will not use state resources. They have already gathered the state resources already. For the energy shortage, it's a general. The other caller just said, what all the things APC government made, they destroyed it. All the good things they made, they inherited, they destroyed it. So let me tell you, before 2015, I have not heard of national grid collapse. I have not heard of it. That's my opinion. I have not heard that language, that national grid has collapsed. It is when they came in, we start hearing more this. From this point to this point. Now, they are having a shortage of gas due to debtedness. From 2015, we don't know what the kind of debt you are incurring. All these things, they tell us if we remove fuel subsidy, money will be available. Where is the money to pay all these debts? Where is the money?
Okay.
And look at how much fuel we are buying today.
Okay.
It's just that they are not sincere with Nigeria. But one day Nigeria will get tired of them. That just I know. See how people are suffering. Light, anywhere, everything in the freezer spoil. But they just leave us. But one day Nigeria will pay them back.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. And just to clarify that, you said to the best of your knowledge you hadn't heard about national grid collapses. There were quite a number before 2015. I think what we've seen is an increase consistently from 2015 up until now. But yes, in 2010, I think according to information by the NERC and various industry reports, 2010, I think we had 22 total collapses, 20 partial collapses, bringing the total number of collapsing to power grid collapse to 42. The numbers reduced in 2011, picked up again slightly in 2012. By 2013, we were back to 22 total collapses again, 2 partial collapses. But yes, I think so far between 2010 and 2015, 2010 had the highest number of incidents of collapse, whether partial or total, before we now started hearing from the Buhari administration again. And to be honest, in 2015, I think there were a total of 10 collapses, which was a significant reduction from what we saw in 2010 all the way to 2014. Well, by 2014, there were 13, so maybe not so significant. But between 2010 and 2015, just to say that the power grid collapsing thing is a decades-long matter, not a recent phenomenon, but it has picked up, over time. All right. Let's get back to you. Good afternoon.
Hello, Somi. Yeah, sorry, I think it was my airtime that got me.
Welcome back.
Time. Yeah, thank you very much. I was saying that electoral act, I don't think it was just self-serving. The people actually made this thing. Because when you come to issue of election, it should be a level playing ground. I'm not trying to exempt some people. Somebody is in office, somebody has an appointment within the same state, and then the other person is going for re-election. You are now telling the appointees that they should resign. You yourself, you are not resigning. So as far as I'm concerned, that's the approbation and reprobation. Okay, for example, was it not Buhari who carried 10 billion naira and then to Yahya Bello just for 2 or 3 weeks to re-election time? And you are signing an electoral act that will ask appointees to resign their position before they go for any position, elected position, and you are saying the electoral act, the purpose for that electoral act is to ensure they don't use the paraphernalia of office or maybe as instrument of coercion or anything. But the sitting governor is using it. The president is using it. So for what purpose? It's a defeated the purpose for what that thing was being signed has already been defeated. If it is systematically, making shifting other people away from the benefits. I don't see the meaning of that. They are just doing that for just make it look as though it's for good purpose. It's not. Then back to the electricity and all what's not. See, I don't know why Nigerians are even complaining. Because getting hope in the midst of hopelessness, I don't know, it's looking like living in fool's paradise. That's what it is. Living in fool's paradise. You saw that the president of your country has he has disconnected himself and his family from the national grid, went to buy solar panel and flood everywhere in solar panel. And you are still having hope that he will give you electricity. Well, if you talk that in himself, I will give you a book. Not mind you, I don't mean any violence. Yeah, sometimes things are very funny.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Let's go to WhatsApp. We've got a number of messages here. Okay, this is 8 seconds long.
Somi, when I heard this news of government officials to resign.
Okay, I sense that it wasn't complete, but let's take this one. This should be, it's a minute 28 seconds.
Hello and good afternoon to you, Ma. I trust and hope your day went or is going on well. Concerning the issue of resignation of government appointees or ministers that the president had made announcement today. Yeah, I think it's a welcome development, although that won't stop them from using the government resources to run their campaigns. We're in Nigeria, we know how it is. Before they will definitely resign, they have one or two things that they'll back up. So just to save them the weight of everything and battling with court and whatsoever. So yeah, and if we're talking about replacement, I think they can be replaced, and the people that will be brought in will be maybe people around their offices or stuff like that. And then concerning the power issue, yeah, I think this should be given into private consortiums, companies. Let's take example with what is happening in Abia State. Aba is being supplied not by the national grid again. It's by a private-owned energy company. So let's try it in Nigeria and see what the future holds for us. Thank you very much. My name is Acrosoft.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Acrosoft. I mean, I was going to come to that at some point. If we're constantly having the issue of, today it's Gencos. The discos have their own. Then you have the transmission company also, which has a critical role to play. But I don't know that there's a lot of issue when it comes to transmission. Perhaps that will be a conversation between the Genco and the transmission companies. But when you look at the entire value chain, it does make sense for state governors to want to say, we have a law that empowers us to be able to generate, I think, take on the value chain, sort of like decentralize it, basically, not wait for everything to come from the national grid, just as the last caller said. But you know, we're seeing that not a lot of state governors are running with that. They're not running with that initiative, and so again, you know, the question is, where exactly is the problem from? There was a time when the conversations around power were always about cabals. But I believe that with the law that the late President Muhammadu Buhari passed, that allowed states to take on the value chain and provide power for their states, perhaps if it is utilized to the fullest, then we would not see things continually get this bad. Decentralization has been allowed, but why is it not being followed through? Why is it not being taken up on? That's the question. But yes, that's what we're seeing here. But yes, thank you so much for that call. Let's take a few more. We can do maybe 2 or 3 before the commercial break. And after that, we'll come back and take the final story. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome.
My name is Monday, calling from Zone 3.
Welcome, Mr. Monday.
You see, the issue of power, when we keep complaining, you see, in Nigerian, I could remember there's one politician tell me that anything happening in Nigeria is deliberate, that according to what they teach them, they allow things to go well. When they call people who will not listen to them, will not obey them. That's why they are doing that deliberate. Check, go and investigate who are those Gencos and the rest of them. It's top government officials that stole money to go and they are the one operating the company.
You have verified information that the people operating.
Of course, that's why you see any money being intervention whatsoever. Ask where are those money going to? They share it they put it into their own pocket. For a president to allow 10 billion naira just solar, do you have hope on that electricity? He doesn't have he doesn't believe in it. That's why he's doing it like that.
I mean, I understand the frustration about the president going off grid, but I don't see the connection between Gencos who are saying we are being owed money, and you are saying the Gencos have collected money from where? When it is clear
that's what I'm
that
saying.
they've been owed.
I'm telling you. Okay. I'm telling you. Check all those companies. Who are the owner of those companies? When you discover that Nigerian politicians, they went and register they are the ones. They are not doing it directly, but they are the ones on those companies. That's why things are not going well for us. The only way out of it is for Nigeria to stop sending of tribal or religion whatsoever. 2027, let's vote APC. I'm not surprised because Tinubu campaign that time, President Tinubu campaign, that is going to continue from where it stopped. And he's doing that the same thing. It's for us, Nigeria, to open our eyes and do the right thing by voting them out of it. Thank you. Have a nice deliberation.
All right. So to understand your allegation, these Gencos that are being owed money, the people at the top are collecting the money and not putting it into the operation of the generation companies. It is confusing. That's why I said I don't see the connection. But thank you for your thoughts. Regardless, it is a lot to take on, especially when you see that the number one man in the country is looking to remove himself from the issues of power. But at the same time, please, let's always come with verifiable information. All right, we go back to the phone lines. Olufemi Victor says, or rather WhatsApp, good afternoon, Somi. The power situation has always been this bad. It has been so for years now. It is not a today thing, and nobody has been able to find a lasting solution. All right. The Queen says, hello, Somi. Thank God you brought up the power issue. Please tell AEDC to stop cheating us and revert the banding system. Okay. We on Band-Aid are being cheated because they are defaulting in the number of hours they're meant to supply us and still bill us very high. Is it not cheating? Do they not need to be told? Also, did you know that there was a time power was 24/7 in Abuja? This ended in the early 2000s, I think. There was a company, Geometric Power, in partnership with the government then. It was located where we now have the Apo roundabout or close to it. I think OBJ's government felt an alternative was better and didn't renew the contract. I think going back to such an arrangement is the solution. The government, instead of giving us subsidized rice, should subsidize solar power purchase for the citizens. After all, the villa has switched to solar power. What is good for the goose is also good for the gander. All right, the Queen, with that message there, let's take this. Good afternoon.
Hello, Somi. Good afternoon.
Welcome.
How is work today?
It's going well. Thank you.
Fancy is my name.
Welcome, sir. Go ahead.
Yes. Honestly, I want to talk about the light issue. The problem we have in Nigeria is just because of the leaders. Even Tinubu himself is tired. Just that it's very difficult to say. He himself is tired because the more you look, the less you see. If in villas we are talking now that is going on the solar panel, is that not a shame? Is that not a big shame? And if you talk of the trillions that whatever Genco or whatever name they call themselves that they say they are owing them, who is owing Genco all this money? Is it not the same government? Is it not the same government? This is the same government, Tinubu, that said that if he doesn't feel the power, that they should not vote for him again. Now, he's still making effort to come back for 2027. Why are we wicked to ourselves, for God's sake? Why are we behaving like this? Why? Common light, you cannot see light.
no light, insecurity everywhere. People are suffering. You go to hospital, no medicine. It's for people to even pay. In fact, 2-bedroom flat now, so as I'm talking to you now, in Lube area, in fact, it's difficult to get it for 2.5 million. Imagine somebody that earns 200,000 naira in a month. Can he be able to save 2.5 million to pay for 2-bedroom flat in a year? And by the time you see that person in position tomorrow now, stealing money, you say that person is corrupt. If he doesn't, in short, I don't just know. I don't know. The NDC system, their government is very shameful. It's disgraceful, honestly. It's disgraceful, wallahi. No need we should be hiding it or deceiving ourselves. No need.
All right.
No need. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Okay. We are talking about two critical issues. We'll get to the third one after the news. But before that, let's just take this message. So, the question of what will be happening to governance in the country when political appointees that want to contest for offices leave the government is very, very vital. From my years of observing election circles in our country, it shows that year in, year out, quest for political offices, politics, and allied issues over predominated socio-political system of our nation. Governance and dividends of democracy are kept at the distant back in the scheme of things, even when our country is an underdeveloped nation begging for sustainable growth and development. So these contradictions in our body politic make me believe that our leaders, past and present, don't think. If they ever think, why must our founding fathers accept socio-political systems that make politics be the all and end all of national life? Okay. I don't have time to finish your comment. Maybe I'll just run towards the end. I doubt if our political elites... no. There is no way we can truly grow and develop with the current political culture that turns everybody into professional politicians. The way out of this vicious circle is to dismantle the current too alien political culture and replace it with homemade, African-friendly, and development-oriented political culture. And the message is from social engineer Comrade Efodu. That will be our message as we go on the commercial break. Perhaps if it's short enough, we might come back, take a few more comments before the news. Otherwise, I'll see you on the other end of 4 o'clock. Stay with us.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this. Bluetooth
Story, and then back to the phone lines on today's edition of The Big Three. Remember, we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, so please do well to join us there as well. I see some of your messages. We'll be getting to them in a little bit. You want to go to Nigeria Info Abuja. It's the same handle on Facebook and on YouTube to be part of the conversation. Thank you so much to those who've sent in messages already. We'll get to them very soon. All right, the final story before we go back to you. A federal high court in Warri Delta State ruled that Nigerians have the constitutional right to record police officers performing their duties in public, bringing about a major precedent for accountability and civil liberties here in our country. The judgment was delivered yesterday by Judge H.A. Nganjiwa, who emphasized that police officers must wear visible name tags, display their false numbers, and refrain from harassing, intimidating, arresting or confiscating devices from citizens who record their actions. This whole drama started when Maxwell Uwaifo, took the police to court alleging that he had been, we call it allegation, but it's been proven by the court. According to all of that, he challenged the legality of police stop and search operations conducted without officers displaying name tags or false numbers. He sought a few prayers based on his numerous encounters with the police. I think the last one being on the 10th of May last year when he was on his way to Warri from Benin, where he was blocked by armed officers at a checkpoint, questioned aggressively without reasonable suspicion, and threatened with arrest when he attempted to record the interaction. So yes, he took the matter to court, prayed for an injunction restraining the respondents and their agents from carrying out stop and search or checkpoint operations without ensuring that all operatives were in full uniforms bearing their names and force numbers. He also sought a declaration that police officers conducting patrol, stop and search operations and other public interactions without wearing uniforms that display these names and numbers should be deemed as acting unconstitutionally and illegally. He also requested that the relevant authorities discipline any officer found to have acted in breach of these constitutional rights, and that the Police Service Commission issue circulars or directives mandating all officers on public duties to wear full uniforms with proper identification while initiating disciplinary action against defaulters. And his final prayer was an award of 80 million naira as general and exemplary damages by the respondents for repeated violations of the rights of himself and members of the public, as well as any further orders the court may deem just and appropriate. And just for your information, all his prayers were granted. Everything from the 80 million naira to the one that led to the permission by the court to say Nigerians can record police officers who are doing their duty. Now, a number of concerns have been raised concerning this. While we cannot deny the fact that there have been instances of police acting extrajudiciously, if you will, in conduct of some of these stop and search operations, there are concerns that certain arms of the police may be affected because, according to their operations, we have to look at it side by side with what the law says vis-a-vis their operations, but according to their operations, some of them are allowed to operate without these necessary demands, put forward by the plaintiff saying name, number, and all of that. These are some of the concerns that have been raised. Perhaps some of the legal luminaries in the House who know what the law says, and we compare it with, the police act, the activities of the police and all of that, can help us set the record straight to say these are valid concerns or these are not valid concerns. But yes, there are certain arms of the police who do not operate wearing these things, these name tag and force number and what have you. So how does that affect them? And then there's also the concern that we Nigerians can get a bit, the word is not trigger happy, because in this case now, it is the phone that is deemed the very important device. Or in the case of what happened in Lagos, some guy had smart eyeglasses. I remember seeing that video, and the police kept trying to get him to stop recording using the eyeglasses. I think what the law allows and what the law permits is that if you're allowed to do this because it is not a matter of privacy, at least not where the police officers are concerned. There is no privacy for a police officer who is in conduct of his duty in a public space. There is no privacy there. As long as he's in the conduct of his duty, he can be recorded. That's what some people have said. He can be recorded. I think where the law has an issue with it is if you're not doing it openly, if you're doing it secretly. But then again, it is the concern of how Nigerians will then act on this law. We may not, the word is not trigger happy, but you get phone happy, and then you now start to intentionally provoke or intentionally curate some of the recordings that you've done. Some of them can be posted without all the necessary context and all of that. These are just some of the concerns that, have come up in course of my conversation with other people. I would like to hear your thoughts on that as well. But this is the ruling. The court says Nigerians can record police officers in the course of their duty who are conducting stop and search operations. And if there is anyone doing it without their name tag and force number, it is deemed unconstitutional. Yeah. So that's our story. I'd like to get your thoughts on it as well. And let's get to you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sister Somi.
Welcome, sir.
This is Mr. Gideon, voicing us from Gwagwalada.
Go ahead.
Mr. Somi, not only police officers, every public officer, because they are serving us, we have right to record and see what they are doing. Not only police officers. That law should be extended to all the public officers, even the governors, to the president, to the senators. We have rights to monitor what they are doing. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. The phone lines are open. Let's talk. Good afternoon, Somi. The debt owed the Gencos is called legacy debt for a reason. Please educate those that think by voting out Tinubu will solve the electricity problem for over 20 years to have a rethink. Not be everything be politics. Olufemi Victor, I'd like you to do the educating. Just to be clear, you are saying voting him out will not solve the electricity problem of over 20 years. Educate us on how keeping him will solve the problem. I'm not taking any side here. I'm saying you have asked for me to educate, and I don't know that I have the information to do this, because it is a question of a leader who knows what to do and comes in and does it. Yes, it is a legacy debt. It's been existing since 2015. 2015 till now is 11 years. Again, some people will ask, which party has been in power that entire time? Is my mathing? 2015, yes, 11 years. I'm right, yes. So perhaps it might not be a case of voting out or keeping in power, but to think that we cannot solve this problem of a legacy debt. I'm not saying we cannot solve the entire electricity problem, but a legacy debt at the very least should be cleared and can be cleared. And we're seeing that, just like the information I gave earlier on, there is some information that says they're making moves to clear it. But the other conversations will be had at a different time. I can't get into that now. Well, thank you so much. Good afternoon, Somi. We warned Nigerians. We warned, but Nigerians didn't listen. I knew it from day one that the president didn't have anything to offer, even if you gave him 30 years. It can only get worse because no one gives what he doesn't have. This is Obedient Man Emeka from NNPC Towers writing in. A man who couldn't fix power shortages in his own office in the villa. Is it yours that he will fix? They have cut off from the realities with us. They now have uninterrupted electricity while leaving even his supporters in abject darkness while still campaigning to remain in office. Anyways, I know that Peter Obi is not among one affected by this frequent epileptic power supply. So it is 18 days and still counting in the ongoing war in Iran. What has the government of Tinubu done to cushion the effects of the war? Absolutely nothing. Many countries have rolled out their reserves, cut off tax, and provided work-free days within a week. What have they done for even their supporters? Abina rice we go put in our cars to drive to work. Salaries have been on hold, no electricity. In fact, the hell is here in Nigeria at the moment. It is so sad. All right, let's get back to the lines. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, welcome.
Thank you. My name is Moses, calling back from Zone 3.
Okay.
The issue of that judge, I really congratulate that judge. May God bless him. He's not a political judge. That means we still have good judges in Nigeria. You see, the operation of police at times, how can you go and arrest somebody without over identification? Even people around there, when they took that person away, they can't even explain that this is who and who. It's very wrong. And this should be extended both the military and all the parliamentary, even civil servants too. At least to avoid all this embarrassment that maybe you have misunderstanding with somebody, you don't his own power or people that his own connection to come and victimize Nigerians just for nothing. At least I congratulate that judge. That's the kind of people that we are looking for. Judges in Nigeria, not the political judges that they dance to politician this thing. True. Thank you. May God bless out the judge and he will live long.
All right, thank you, sir.
The way we want to. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well, if there's an appeal, the matter we enter another level. But good afternoon, welcome.
Good afternoon, this is Mass Destiny Anthony.
Welcome, sir. Go ahead.
And the talk of police without any means of identification, the ones where they wear between slippers, they roam around. That one another matter. Because for me, I don't know whether if there is something they teach them in the police college that makes them behave like they are above the law. Most police officers have this attitude like, I'm above the law. Once I'm a policeman, I can do and don't do. So I don't want to talk about that. The one I want to comment on is on the NEPA thing, this electricity matter. It has never been this bad. And Somi is horrible. You will struggle to buy a fan. You will get AC in your house. You can't use it. And every night you're sweating. This morning I woke up yesterday. They tried in the evening. We had light. But throughout yesterday, as I'm talking to you now, I'm close to NIPCO. I want to go and buy fuel at 30 or 40,000 naira for house. So by tomorrow or next, I will go see whether I go see money put for car. And so this is what I want to say. Bola Tinubu, before he became president, said, if I don't give you electricity, constant electricity, do not allow me to come for the second term. He's a Muslim. Maybe they are concluding fasting now. If you are an honest person and a God-fearing person, like you people like to use that term, which I don't believe in, he should not even pick form to say that he's contesting for second term. Because one of the things that you promised, or the most important thing that you know will affect businesses, affect everybody. Even you, that you are not doing buying and selling like me, but the environment where you're working, I see the way you people operate, steady generator here and there, just to make sure that your equipment will function well, and so that people will be able to disseminate information. You spend so much, you make 1 million naira, and you're spending 1.5, almost running at cost. You've not paid your salary on electricity. And we have somebody who said, if I don't do it, don't even allow me to come for the second term. So I think that the best thing for Bola Tinubu to do, as to prove that he's an honorable man, is don't even pick form. Because judging you by electricity is a massive failure. I do not think that he's, and if you vote for him, if I let National Assembly amend our constitution where he can stay for fourth term, like we have in some other African countries, Cameroon and so on and so forth, he will not fix it. He has gone off grid. If he's investing billions to get solar for himself, so you think, say, he send me and you?
All right.
He doesn't care.
Okay.
He doesn't care.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, let's take some more calls. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Ojo, the next president.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. On the issue of the judgment against the police, I think it's a good move in the right direction. Let the police go and defend the judgment. Go to the next court of appeal, go and defend it. Any police officer or security that want to perform public duty must put on their uniform and their tag. And the citizens have the right to record them. I think we are getting our rights back gradually. Nigeria is developing gradually. Gone are the days where security will just be doing whatever they are, business of human rights without anything to prove with. Now, this judgment has opened the eyes of Nigerians. So if the police are not satisfied, they should go to court to go and challenge that judgment. And on the issue of the electricity, it will the only one of the way that we can solve this problem is for the governor to take up their responsibility. I have been saying it. Most of the responsibility that is at the table of the federal government, gone are the days that federal government can solve the problem. Only them cannot solve it. Now that we have law in place, I don't see the reason why the governors will not take up that responsibility. We have many ways of generating electricity in this country. We have wind energy, we have solar energy, and the rest. So let the state governor look at their comparative advantage and make use of that law, rather than leaving everything for the government, federal government.
All right.
And on the issue of the debt, you
have
can
20
see
seconds,
where
sir.
corruption and manipulation of funds has led us into. Only God will deliver us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Someone said, trying to solve Nigeria's electricity problem is like trying to fix a car that is on fire. But, again, just like the last caller said, perhaps with the, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, what the law that the late President Muhammadu Buhari passed, what the law allowed for is a form of decentralization, yes? Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Because right now, we're hearing that the major reason why we're having these issues is the gas matter, yeah? There is a liquidity issue to it. There is a gas bottleneck matter to it. There is what some people have called political sensitivity versus economic reality, which says to make the sector profitable, the government needs to let electricity prices match the cost of production. However, with high inflation, raising tariffs is politically toxic, and the government will be stuck paying a multi-trillion-naira subsidy it can barely afford. That is another issue that has been raised. There's also the metering gap as well. So it's a multi-faceted problem, or a hydra-headed wahala. But you know, at the very least, take it one at a time. Look at the matter of supplying gas, right? Ensure that the infrastructure to get that gas to power plants is not old, is efficient, can work properly, you know, and then, you know, you don't have to be dealing with gas suppliers saying, no cash, no gas, you know, and all of that. Take it a step at a time. And then also, I guess it just goes a long way to speak to the kind of leaders that we're going to be having come 2027. If we as citizens are serious about it, everybody, as far as we're seeing with the positioning and politicking going on, I don't even know that they'll be bothered to put forth manifestos this time around to say, this is what I'm going to fix, this is what I'm going to fix. Because there's a sense of, I'm in there already. I've gotten it, so I wouldn't need to do much to convince the people. You know, 3 bags of rice here, 1 groundnut oil in one hand, 1 palm oil in one hand, and yeah. So it is very, very pertinent that we, as active citizens, if you choose to be active, have a say in who comes in 2027 to fix some of these issues. At the very least, we should have a state governor who is committed to taking advantage of the law that was passed to say, how can I generate power for my state? I think is the least that we can do. And then follow up with them to ensure that they're actually trying to solve the problem. Abia State might not be in Uhuru right now, but from the reports that I've heard, they have made significant progress. Some other states have also said, okay, let's try and do a little something here, try and do a little something here. And what they have done is take up some form of a regulatory role to see what they can do in terms of pricing. But we need more commitment than that. We cannot keep carrying this decades-long issue of no light and it's a function of the weather or it's not a function of the weather for all of these years. It makes absolutely no sense. On Facebook, I see your comments here. Let me run through them very quickly. Tony Botemidayo from Lambata says, electricity in Kwali is so poor. I know, it's poor in my area too. Francis Namani says, incessant power blackouts are really worrisome and nothing to write home about. I'm therefore calling on the appropriate authority to kindly do everything possible to restore constant power supply. Thanks and God bless. He also says he's watching live from Amagunze in Enugu State. Thank you so much. I see your message. Do we have 30 seconds? Can you do this in 30 seconds, sir? Hello? Welcome, sir. Can you make your contribution in 30 seconds? Otherwise, just hang on till after the break. Which will you prefer?
Okay, let me hang on till after the break.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. No. You're here. It's WhatsApp. Your money will not finish. Just hang in there. All right, let's go on a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll take a few more phone calls before we get to the soundbite segment. Stay with us.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
A wannan Ramadan, madarar Kivo na taya iyalai a duk faɗin Najeriya gabatar da addu'o'i, tsantseni da haɗin kai.
Da lokacin buɗe baki zuwa sahur, ƙara wa kofin shayin ka da kofi, custard da kokon ka armashi tare da madarar Kivo.
A lokacin da masoya suka haɗu domin yin buɗe baki, a tabbata an yi amfani da Kivo non-dairy creamer domin ƙara armashin buɗe baki.
Da fatan Allah ya karɓa mana azumi da ibadunmu.
Kivo non-dairy creamer, bari wannan Ramadan ya kasance mai armashi.
Kivo creamer. Gana kudin gwaje classes da kudin sana da sauki, samun sana da sauki, samiyar ku gardi, samiyar ku daɗi, samiyar ku kamshi, ku nemi dangwace classes
Sinadarin dangwace classic an yi shi ne musamman domin ya baiwa girkin ku mafi daɗin ɗanɗano da kuma ƙanshi mai tsangayawa. Ku martaba girkin ku da sabon sinadarin dangwace classic.
Auntie, you are enjoying, oh? Only you. Peppered rice, amala, nkwobi, masa, cake, and now ice cream. I hope you have Justifies on you.
Justifies? I never leave home without it.
That's right, Justifies, the new natural effervescent powder for an instant refreshing relief from heartburn and stomach indigestion. Just add Justifies into cup of water, drink, and you're good to go. Justifies, your relief on the go. Justifies is from the House of Justid. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Made and marketed by Ranbaxy Nigeria Limited, a Sun Pharma company.
Gone are the days that solar inverters and renewable energy solutions were the exclusive preserve of the rich in the society. The advent of affordable and budget-friendly solar solutions, championed by the Green Cluster Solar Limited, has brought solar energy to the doorstep and reach of very many persons who would not have been able to afford it before now. Subscribe to Affordable Solar. Subscribe to our solar generators and power stations of various capacities. Visit our office at Suite FFC 20 and Suite FFC 21, first floor, Mall of Dubai, Gimbia Street, Area 11, Garki, Abuja, or call 0810-616-2016, 0810-616-2016. Green Cluster Solar Limited, the home of affordable solar solutions.
Welcome back to your number one talk news and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Thank you for staying on the line, sir. Let's get to hear from you very quickly.
Thank you for keeping me. My name is Iheman Machukwem. I'm calling from Buhari.
Go ahead, sir.
Let me start from the police wearing their complete kit with name tag. I hope Nigerians have suffered much in the hand of the policeman who does not have a name, but wears the police uniform. I, for one, have suffered. I traveled all the way from Abuja with some house property I was taking home. At Upper Iweka, some patrolmen and police, Range Rover, or the Land Rover in those days, donated by Norway, stopped me. Unfortunately, I forgot the receipt of the items I was taking home.
system in Abuja.
Mm-hmm.
All along the road, when there's some few who stopped and asked, I told them what happened. They waved me. But these guys insisted they are going to take me to the police station. So I paid me 50,000. I said, let's go to the police station because I was sure where the property, the receipt was. And I could call people in Abuja who are going to bring it for me the next day. They refused taking me to the police station and they refused letting me go until I give them 50,000. They delayed me for 4 complete hours. And they didn't collect their 50,000, but they made sure they delayed me. And unfortunately, all of the 5 of them, nobody was wearing a name tag. We didn't know who was in charge or who was a sergeant or who was an inspector because all of them wore things that showed no rank and showed no name. The only thing you know that they are this name is that they were wearing the police uniform. But that's just bad by that. On the electricity issue, when men give promises like in the man of the capacity of a president of a nation, we should always have that consciousness that people are taking him serious. Unfortunately, in this issue, we know this problem has been there before Tinubu came in. But Tinubu stood on the podium and took the responsibility of telling Nigerians, if I don't give you electricity 247, don't vote me in 2027. And like some others have said, the electricity has become worse than what it was even before he came in. Unfortunately, the gas they are complaining of, Tinubu is the minister for petroleum and natural resources, if there is a minister like that. And so, he is in the capacity of giving us the fuel we cannot even buy in the filling stations again. He's also in the capacity of making sure there is gas available to move the turbines that give us this electricity. So he's not doing anything like that. He's concentrating on winning the election come 2020.
All right.
The governors are not even interested in generating light. I think Buhari did a good job by making this accessible, but they are not even going there.
All right, sir.
So it's really again a dilemma for Nigerians. We are suffering. That's just the truth.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. For the benefit of keeping you on, I left you on for just a little longer. I would take one more call, go to the messages, and then we will wrap this up. Good afternoon.